Anna Greystone was supposed to start a new life. Ryan Maddox made sure she never would. Just hours after exchanging vows in front of family and friends, Anna was found dead in a forest, still wearing her wedding dress. What began as a dream ceremony ended in a calculated execution, planned not by a stranger, but by the man who had promised to love her forever, the perfect couple, the perfect wedding, and a murder that shocked the nation. The wedding of Anna Greystone and Ryan Maddox was everything people in Millstone Hills had expected: elegant, grand, and picture-perfect. The ceremony was held at the historic Willowbend Estate, a sprawling, mansion-turned-luxury event space surrounded by autumn trees and manicured gardens. Guests arrived in formal attire, posing for photos against ivy-covered stone walls. Soft music played from a live quartet, and servers moved through the crowd with flutes of champagne. Anna, a 29-year-old financial consultant, looked breathtaking, in a satin gown with delicate lace sleeves. Her smile was warm, her laughter genuine. To friends and family, it was clear she was deeply in love, or at least trying to be. The couple had met 3 years earlier at a tech conference in Seattle. Ryan, a successful entrepreneur in his early 30s, was charming and ambitious. Their relationship quickly became serious. To outsiders, they appeared to be a power couple, smart, wealthy, and on track to build an enviable life together. Yet in the weeks leading up to the wedding, Anna had grown quiet. Some friends noticed she seemed distracted, as if something weighed on her mind. But no one pressed her. It was her big day, and everyone assumed any hesitation was normal pre-wedding nerves. As the evening unfolded, nothing appeared out of place. After exchanging vows, Anna and Ryan danced under twinkling string lights strung across the estate courtyard. The reception was lively, filled with speeches, laughter, and music that echoed into the night. At around 11:30 p.m., Anna stepped away from the crowd. A few guests recalled seeing her walk toward the garden terrace, her phone in hand, possibly taking a call. She never came back. By the time the final guests were leaving just after midnight, Ryan claimed Anna had gone to lie down in their honeymoon suite. No one thought much of it. It had been a long day, and the bride wanting a moment of rest didn't seem strange. But when the sun rose the next morning, and there was no sign of Anna, no texts, no calls, no posts, concern began to spread. Her sister tried calling her repeatedly. Friends checked with the hotel staff, only to learn that no one had seen her since the previous night. Ryan appeared confused and distressed, saying he thought Anna had simply wanted space. He mentioned the wedding had been stressful and that they had argued briefly, but he believed she would come around. Hours passed and Anna's phone went straight to voicemail. Her purse, personal belongings, and travel bag were still in the bridal suite, untouched. By that afternoon, police were involved. A missing person report was filed, and a search was launched across the surrounding area. Drones scanned the dense woods behind the estate, while volunteers combed nearby trails. The joyful buzz of wedding bells had turned into whispers of fear and confusion. No one knew what had happened to the bride, who vanished into the night. The celebration was over. What followed next would be far more disturbing than anyone could have imagined. The search for Anna Greystone entered its second day with growing urgency. Local news outlets began reporting on the missing bride, showing smiling photographs of her in her wedding dress, taken just hours before she vanished. Volunteers, police officers, and even some wedding guests joined in the effort to find her. The once celebratory Willowbend estate was now surrounded by crime scene tape and search dogs. Authorities treated the area as a possible abduction site, although there were still no signs of forced entry, struggle, or any suspicious vehicles. The deeper the investigation went, the more unsettling the silence became. Then, on Tuesday morning, a jogger named Carla Bentham was running along a narrow wooded trail just outside Millstone Hills when she noticed something unusual in a clearing beneath the trees. At first, it looked like a pile of fabric, possibly trash left behind by careless hikers. But as she moved closer, her steps slowed. Her breath caught in her throat. There, sprawled unnaturally on the forest floor, was the body of a young woman in a tattered white gown, her skin pale and her dress soaked with blood. Carla ran, shaking, to the nearest house to call 911. Police arrived quickly and sealed off the area. It was Anna. She lay with her arms at her sides, eyes open, as if frozen in time. Her wedding gown was torn and smeared with dirt and blood. One of her shoes was missing. A thin trail of drag marks led from the path to the clearing, indicating she had been moved. There were 2 gunshot wounds to her chest and a deep cut on the side of her head. An autopsy would later reveal she had been hit with a blunt object, likely first to disable her before being executed at close range. There were no signs of sexual assault. Her diamond necklace and wedding ring were still on her. This wasn't a robbery or an act of random violence. Whoever had done this had a specific purpose. News of Anna's death spread quickly. The community was stunned. Vigils began forming outside the estate, with candles and flowers placed near the gates. Her family, devastated and in shock, struggled to comprehend how someone so full of life could be taken so violently. Meanwhile, detectives shifted the focus of the investigation. This was no longer a missing person case, it was a homicide. The last people to see Anna became the first to be questioned again. Ryan, her new husband, was at the center. He had no solid alibi for the time Anna disappeared. He claimed he had stayed behind to clean up and make calls after the guests left, but security footage offered only limited proof. His expression during interviews was hollow, his story careful but detached. Yet there was no physical evidence tying him to the scene, at least not yet. The image of Anna, found dead in her wedding dress in the woods, became the defining symbol of the case. It was a scene too shocking to forget. A celebration had turned into a crime scene, and the question that haunted everyone now was simple. Who would kill a bride on her wedding night, and why? In the days following Anna Greystone's murder, investigators turned their full attention to the people closest to her. The crime was too personal, too calculated, to be random. Detectives began digging through her personal life, hoping to find any indication of conflict, threats, or hidden tension. What they uncovered was far from the perfect picture the wedding had presented. Anna had always been known as meticulous and observant, qualities that made her an excellent financial consultant. She managed accounts for high-profile clients and had a reputation for spotting irregularities that others missed. It was this skill, investigators would soon learn, that may have sealed her fate. While reviewing Anna's phone and laptop, detectives discovered a series of saved documents that hadn't been shared with anyone, not even her closest family. These files contained spreadsheets and notes related to Ryan Maddox's tech company, Madcore Solutions. Anna had been quietly examining internal financial records. It appeared that she had access to confidential documents Ryan had not intended for her to see. The records pointed to troubling signs. Money moving between hidden accounts, inflated, earnings reports, and unusually timed withdrawals. The deeper investigators looked, the clearer it became. Ryan's company was not as stable as he claimed. It was, in fact, falling apart under the weight of financial fraud. Anna had stumbled, On to something serious, and she had taken notes. Text messages from the week before the wedding revealed she was feeling conflicted. In one message to her best friend, she wrote, "Something's off. I need to figure out what I'm walking into before I say, I do." Another message, sent just 2 days before the wedding, said, "If I disappear, start with Ryan." That message chilled investigators and confirmed that Anna had feared for her safety. Ryan's demeanor in interviews began to shift once detectives presented what they had found. He became evasive and defensive, often redirecting questions or blaming stress from the wedding for his lack of memory. He denied any wrongdoing and insisted that Anna had misunderstood the documents. But investigators weren't convinced. Security footage from the estate revealed a crucial moment. At 11:45 p.m., Anna and Ryan were seen in a secluded area near the service entrance, engaged in what appeared to be a heated exchange. The video had no audio, but Anna's body language was tense. She crossed her arms, took a step back, and turned away. That was the last visual record of her alive. Detectives also uncovered that Ryan had purchased a burner phone 2 weeks before the wedding. While it hadn't been used to contact Anna, its existence suggested he had something to hide. The timeline was tightening, and the motive was becoming clearer. Anna had discovered financial crimes that could destroy Ryan's career and lead to prison. If she exposed him, everything he had built would collapse. As the investigation continued, another strange clue emerged. Someone else had been at the wedding. Someone not listed on the guest registry. Surveillance footage showed a woman lingering near the back of the venue, dressed in dark clothing, avoiding attention. At first, she was dismissed as a staff member, but she would soon become central to the case. The mysterious woman spotted at the wedding venue quickly became the investigation's next focus. She had appeared only briefly in the background of the surveillance footage, walking near the catering vans, then vanishing behind the trees surrounding the property. No one remembered speaking to her, and she wasn't listed among the staff or the guests. Facial recognition software eventually matched her to a woman named Lydia Harper, a former employee of Ryan Maddox's company who had left under murky circumstances nearly 2 years earlier. Until now, no one had considered her relevant to Anna's life. But that changed rapidly. Lydia had once been a project manager at Madcore Solutions, known for being intelligent, intense, and fiercely loyal. Records showed she had filed a lawsuit against the company after being abruptly fired. The lawsuit, citing wrongful termination and emotional distress, had been dismissed due to insufficient evidence. Still, according to internal emails, she had accused Ryan of unethical practices, claims eerily similar to what Anna had recently uncovered. At the time, Lydia had warned investors of shady dealings, but she was dismissed as unstable and disgruntled. Now, with Anna dead and Lydia reappearing at the scene, investigators had a new trail to follow. Tracking Lydia down wasn't easy. She had changed her appearance, moved several times, and deleted her social media presence. When authorities finally located her in a rundown apartment just outside Seattle, she was visibly shaken. At first, she denied any involvement, but after hours of questioning and being presented with footage and data linking her to the area, the night of the murder, her story began to unravel. Eventually, Lydia confessed, but what she revealed shocked even the most seasoned investigators. She claimed that Ryan had reached out to her months earlier, pretending to want to make peace and apologize for the past. He offered her money and a promise of closure, saying he needed her help with a personal problem involving Anna. According to Lydia, he manipulated her into believing Anna was scheming to destroy him, both personally and professionally. He convinced her that Anna was the root of both their downfalls. Lydia, emotionally vulnerable and still angry over her dismissal, agreed to assist him, though she insisted she never agreed to murder. Lydia said she had driven a rented catering van to the estate under the guise of helping with a surprise for the bride. She waited behind the trees near the back of the property while Ryan lured Anna toward her. The plan, she claimed, was to frighten Anna into silence, possibly force her to sign a non-disclosure agreement and disappear for a few days. But something changed. Lydia said Ryan lost control. After a struggle, he struck Anna with a blunt object and dragged her to the van. She watched, stunned, as he loaded Anna into the back and drove off. The final location, the forest trail, was known only to Ryan, she claimed. She said he told her to stay quiet, to disappear, and not to contact anyone. But guilt had eaten away at her since that night. Though Lydia's confession didn't excuse her involvement, it gave police the final piece they needed to arrest Ryan Maddox. His calm, successful exterior had been a mask. Behind it was a man willing to kill the woman he had just married to protect a crumbling empire. The trial of Ryan Maddox and Lydia Harper began nearly a year after Anna Greystone's murder. By then, the case had become a national sensation. Media outlets labelled it the bride execution, and true crime enthusiasts followed every update with morbid fascination. Courtrooms were packed, and camera crews lined the steps of the courthouse each morning. Inside, the atmosphere was tense and emotionally charged. Anna's family sat silently in the front row, holding hands, waiting for justice. The prosecution laid out a detailed and devastating case. They presented Anna's notes on the financial fraud she had uncovered, emails that Ryan had deleted but forensic teams recovered, and damning footage showing his final moments with Anna on the night of the wedding. The burner phone and rental van were traced back to him. But it was Lydia Harper's testimony that cemented the narrative. She took the stand, visibly worn, and recounted how Ryan had manipulated her, how he had framed Anna as a threat, and how he had promised her a new life in exchange for her silence. Her voice trembled, but her account remained consistent, backed by location data, rental records, and surveillance footage. Ryan's defense team tried to shift blame onto Lydia. They painted her as a mentally unstable woman seeking revenge for a career she had lost. They insisted that Ryan had no motive to kill his bride, claiming their marriage was genuine and that Anna's discoveries about the company were exaggerated. But the jury saw through it: the paper trail, the texts, the manipulation. It all pointed back to him. After a 3-week trial and only 8 hours of deliberation, the jury returned with a verdict: guilty on all counts. Ryan Maddox was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Lydia Harper, though spared the death penalty due to her cooperation, received a 40-year sentence for her role in the kidnapping and conspiracy. In the weeks after the sentencing, the mood in Millstone Hills remained somber. The Willowbend estate, once a symbol of luxury and celebration, cancelled all future events for the year. No one wanted to be married in a place now associated with betrayal and death. Anna's family created a foundation in her name, aimed at supporting women in controlling or dangerous relationships. They wanted something meaningful to come from her tragedy, something that might prevent others from experiencing a similar fate. Anna's story became a cautionary tale, not only about domestic violence, but also about how easily charm and wealth can mask danger. People remembered her not just as the bride in the woods, but as a strong, intelligent woman who saw the truth and tried to act on it, even when it cost her everything. To this day, visitors still leave flowers at the forest trail where her body was found. The haunting image of Anna Greystone in her wedding gown, left to die among the trees, remains a symbol of both horror and heartbreak, a reminder that evil can wear a tuxedo and smile at the altar,